It's English, but spoken by an Indian person. And it would be nice if we could do transcripts in German, either in English or in German of these English audio recordings. Okay, the process involves transcribing and then translating the transcript into German. Yes, that is quite standard for most organizations, including some audio recordings. I believe we should first become familiar with the system. However, for practical use, we will need to evaluate its accuracy with the speaker. In this case, the speaker is from India and will speak Indian English. Generally, large language models are trained on English with various accents, but we still need to test their accuracy. In situations like this, if the large language model cannot accurately transcribe the Indian English, we can check whether the speaker can use an Indian language instead. I'm not sure which language is the speaker's native language in India. If possible, they should use their native language for the presentation. We will then determine whether that provides a better input for the large language model to perform transcription or speech recognition. These are the two types of testing we usually need to conduct. Personally, I usually conduct this process for speakers from China. For example, if the large language model cannot accurately transcribe Indian English, we will then check whether the speaker can use an Indian language instead. I'm not sure which language of India is the native language for the speaker. Then try using the native language for the presentation, and we will evaluate whether it provides a better input for the large language model to perform transcription or speech recognition. These are the two types of testing we usually need to perform. Personally, I typically conduct them for speakers from China. They face a similar situation. Their English proficiency is generally lower than that of speakers from India. So, I usually ask them to speak Mandarin. I understand very well. However, most of the recordings were made before the master path. Many of the recordings feature teachings by an Indian instructor in the United States, where the talks were delivered in English. We have recordings of one teacher who has passed away and another who is still alive. We cannot ask the teacher who has passed away to repeat the recordings in his native Indian language. Therefore, we must do our best with the existing recordings. Alright, since we have only 1 hour today, I think it would be better to go through the video translation so you can get an idea of how the system's functionality works. After that, we will schedule another session to explore the AI interpretation feature. That part usually takes more time, based on my experience working with students at my university. It usually takes them several hours to learn how to properly set up the live streaming, system audio, and other components needed to broadcast a presentation or lecture. This setup allows my system to translate the live stream video and then retransmit it so that students or audience members can view the interpreted translation. This process involves several technical configurations, and it usually takes a few sessions for them to fully master it. They probably know it, but they usually still make some mistakes. In fact, it would take me quite some time to feel confident enough to avoid making mistakes during a live event situation. I can imagine that. By the way, have you downloaded Google Drive? I've downloaded a file called SiSTeCATI_input_video, which is packaged as a zip. Yes, that's right. There are also JSON keys and a machine ID, along with a computer exe file, but I'm not entirely sure. Wait a moment, I'm checking the zip. If it was downloaded successfully, then that's fine. I'll show you later. Yes, it seems to be working properly. Earlier, I wasn't sure if the download had completed successfully, but it appears to have worked. Thank you. That's great. I'll share my screen to demonstrate how the system works, and afterward, we'll switch to your screen so you can try operating it while I guide you through the process. That's usually an easier way to proceed. Alright, I'll share my entire screen now. Can you see it clearly? I'll try to enlarge it for better visibility. Alright, once you unzip the folder, you'll find several files inside. The main application among them is called SiSTeCATI_video. Alright, the key you generated will need to replace my key. That's what we'll be doing next. I'll guide you once more. When we run the system, this is how it will appear. You'll have access to a control panel. I'll minimize this window so it doesn't cause any distraction. Now, you can see the control panel. You have a video player. I'm using VLC, which is freely available and supports optional donations. For the audio player, I'm using the legacy version of Microsoft Media Player, as it can be displayed in a more compact size. You can also use the newer version. Either option works perfectly fine. When the system starts, it will normally play a short video displaying this message, and the audio player will begin playing music. This is simply to ensure that our speakers are properly configured to hear the audio output. If we don't hear any sound, we'll need to adjust the speaker settings. I'll demonstrate how to do that later. Usually, this setup works fine because the default settings are used most of the time. If not, we'll address that issue accordingly. This black window allows me to monitor how the system is functioning and whether it's processing correctly. For the user, the most important window is the control panel window. Is it large enough to view the characters inside? It's somewhat difficult to see, but still fairly visible. I'll try to switch to the larger version instead. Normally, for users with smaller screens, I set the font to a smaller size. Oh, it's already turned off. Alright, that's the largest size I can use for now. If it's enabled, the display will appear slightly smaller. Since most monitors aren't as large as mine, I need to optimize the font size accordingly. Alright, so this one is already shown in a larger form, but I may need to enlarge it even further. Alright, the key setting here is the language, specifically, the source language of the video we intend to translate. Next is the target language for the video we're translating. Next, we choose the voiceover, whether to use a male or female voice. Next, adjust the speed of the synthesized speech. Choose whether it should be faster or slower. This can be modified using negative or positive values. Later on, we'll explore this in detail, and you'll see how each value influences the speed. The most crucial step is to upload the video, which can be any MP4 video file available on. Most of the time, I also guide users on how to record a short segment from a YouTube video if they want to use it for practice. I might need to create some additional space for it. For example, if we have a YouTube video and want to translate the entire video, in this folder contains an application for downloading the entire YouTube videos or audio files. However, the process may take a long time if the video has a lengthy duration. Here, I will demonstrate using a short video clip that can easily be captured with the Microsoft snipping tool. By pressing Shift plus Window plus S keys, this menu will appear. For video recording, switch to Video. Simply select the area of the screen you wish to capture and then begin recording. This feature is available in Windows for anyone to use. Let's check how it performs. Is the audio clear enough? I can't hear your audio at all. I don't hear any sound either. Let me take a look. Later, when I generate the output video, it will appear the same way. Let me find another speaker. To stop recording, simply end the process. After that, you can play it back to verify that the recording was successfully captured. This one is audible. The recorded version can be heard. Alright, let's check if we can hear sound from the video player. I can't hear the music playback. Oh, you can't hear the music? No, it isn't audible. This music? Still nothing. Alright, never mind. We'll check if we can hear the audio. As a backup, I'm going to use an external speaker. Please wait for a moment. This system was developed independently by him, so if Thomas or Manuel would like to make edits, that's perfectly fine. He's welcome to use it since it isn't restricted by copyright. It's all fine because the complete code is available. Alright, let's check if the speaker allows you to hear the sound. Let's try a few more options. I have quite a few speakers here. Okay, let's test it. I believe this is the one that's plugged in. Yes, let's check. No, I still need to configure this one over there. I've already set it to use my computer's speaker. Is that better? Alright, never mind then. Sometimes during video conferences, music is mistaken for background noise, so it gets blocked. Later, When we play something other than music, it will likely work. Alright, that's how we can capture a short video to be translated. Once we've captured it, we can open the file. For example, I'll open any video I have available, and then we can begin. There's a bit of music playing, but it's not too loud, just a little. Usually, spoken audio comes through more clearly during video conferences. Alright, the system has successfully transcribed the short video I just uploaded. It's not the one I recorded a moment ago. I used a different video. Alright, then the system breaks the transcription into longer sentences, which should offer better context for machine translation. I will try Germany, of course. Is it available here? This one? Yes, the translation is very good. I can't really judge it myself. This one is quite short, so there will be a stop here, a brief pause. That's because the processing speed isn't sufficient to generate enough translations instantly. Typically, I can use the pause button here to stop the playback of the translated video, allowing the system to process additional translation segments. After that, I resume playing the translated video to make it flow more smoothly. Then, I return to the library and select another collection of engaging stories. I enjoy immersing myself in a world of imagination that contrasts with the physical reality around me. When I was around 10 years old, I discovered the internet, and that fascination grew even stronger. The internet opened my eyes to a new world filled with ideas, music, and people, where information can be accessed freely. I saw firsthand that technology has not only transformed the way content is shared, but also reshaped the very nature of the content itself. The contrast between lively online forums and traditional books is quite apparent, don't you think? The same reasoning applies when comparing books with newspapers and other similar online media. Normally, once everything is complete, the system will send a signal indicating the end of the section. After running the system for a specific language pair, the data will be stored locally on your computer. You can use this ID to reference the data from this. Using this ID, I can switch to another language more quickly since there's no need to perform the speech recognition for the source. The system just needs to focus on translating and synthesizing speech for a new language. So now, I'm going to switch to Germany. May I ask a question about what you said earlier? The first step you performed, what language was the original audio in? I assume it wasn't Chinese. It was in a certain language. Was the original language Chinese? No, it was English. So the first step was transcribing from English to Chinese. And in the next step, you'll create a transcription from Chinese to German. Did I get that correct? The transcription remains the same as the one from English. Once we have the transcription, we can use it to translate into Chinese, German, or up to 70 other languages. You create a transcription that converts spoken English into written English, which can then be translated into various other languages. I just want to make sure I understand the entire process. Sorry for interrupting. It's not a problem. When you create a transcription, is it also possible to perform post-processing on it? For instance, if some words are not translated the way I prefer, can I obtain the text so that I can make adjustments to it? Would it be possible to do that? I will demonstrate how to edit both the transcription and the translation, allowing improvements to be made to any segment. Okay, great. That sounds good. Essentially, this is done using the mode here. I'm currently using auto mode, which is why the process is automatic. If you switch to edit mode, you can perform the editing. Now, I will try the German option. Alright, now you just need to change the target language, and then you can start again. It will use the transcription from the English source video and begin translating it into German, followed by speech synthesis. Wow, that's really impressive. Video and, ultimately, immersive technologies will advance. Someday, we may view reading and writing as historical milestones, much like how we now see papyrus scrolls, hieroglyphs, or cave paintings. Just to clarify, I genuinely enjoy reading, and this is not intended as any criticism of written text. Some of my fondest memories come from strolling through my local library in Copenhagen, visible behind me, where I selected all kinds of books, mostly science fiction, and then returned home to read them before heading back to pick out another set of captivating stories. I enjoy immersing myself in imaginative worlds that contrast with the physical reality surrounding me. My fascination deepened when I discovered the internet around the age of 10, opening up a new world filled with ideas, music, and people. Information on the internet was openly accessible, and I witnessed firsthand how technology not only transformed the way content was shared, but also reshaped the very nature of the content itself. The contrast between an active online forum and a traditional book is quite significant, isn't it? The same idea holds true when comparing a blog to a newspaper, and so on. Well, so that is the end. I'm not entirely certain how accurate it is. Of course, I'm not sure how accurate it is, but spoken German is remarkably eloquent. It's truly a profound language. It's not merely a sequence of words. There's a clear sense of meaning behind them, which I find very impressive. Since this is a translation of an existing recorded video, my system can perform the processing within a broader. For the transcription, I'm working with a 2-minute per segment, which helps improve the overall accuracy. However, for real-time AI interpretation, I need to shorten it to ensure the results are produced more quickly. For that, I'll use a 20-second segment. The quality might not match this one, but the overall understanding is usually maintained. You may also notice that in this version, there are fewer pauses, since the system no longer needs to perform transcription, which saves time. The machine translation and speech synthesis are fast enough to run smoothly. When I play the result, it processes segments. Some users may notice that the video's length is only 11 seconds, which corresponds to the final segment. Could I ask another question, please? Is it possible to use an audio recording instead of a video recording for transcription and translation? I think I may have asked this before. For basic transcription, I have another program that can process audio. However, this one is designed for video, which allows me to play the video here, so it only accepts video input. For that purpose, we need to use a simpler tool that accepts any file as input and produces only the transcription, without generating video or voiceover.
Yes, all right.
For this case, there won't be a single video you can copy directly, since I'm playing it segment by segment along with the voice, video, and audio. To create the translated video, we'll need to use the Windows snipping tool to capture it. Set the snipping tool to capture the video. He meant capturing the output as well, since the output is only available in segments. Exactly, and then you can replay the result. Now, as you can see, everything is included in the recorded video. The subtitles, video, and voice are all included. There's no sound because the speaker settings are incorrect. I'm currently using a different speaker and haven't switched it back yet. This is in case you need to record or capture the output video. Yes, of course. Here, you can replay whatever is stored in the data file as many times as you like, but it works in this specific manner through the control. With my system, you can replay the video, and I also create a subtitle file for the source English video. Okay, if you open the folder where I store all the data, you'll find a video there. I can enlarge it, although it's still fairly small. Okay, a video is available here. Essentially, I'll save a copy of the video input here and also include a subtitle file generated for English. You'll see something like this, which provides subtitles segment by segment. Each subtitle represents a complete sentence on its own.
All right, got it.
Earlier, I probably stopped it after playing just one segment, which is why it didn't continue. It's generated for each session, but since I only played one sentence earlier, there's just a single one subtitle available. However, if you played the entire translated video, the subtitles would have covered all. The purpose of the English subtitles file is to help you identify any errors in each segment. If you notice any errors, you can switch to edit mode and select the specific segment to make corrections. When you switch to edit mode, and restarts the process. Now, a different video player will appear for use by the editor. Now you can begin with the first segment. Future generations may no longer rely on traditional reading and writing skills. I realize it may sound unusual, almost unbelievable. Written text is all around us, and we use it constantly. In this view, the section below shows the transcription, while the section above displays the translation. You may notice that the transcription doesn't exactly match the presenter's speech, as the Auto Plus feature is currently being used. Here, you can choose between Plus mode or the Standard mode. Plus mode means the system will refine or enhance the transcribed sentence before it is used for translation. That's why, if you examine this sentence, you'll see it's actually a revised version. I'm not sure whether it's an improved or better version, since this speaker is quite proficient in English. For my lectures, I will enable this mode, as it helps me correct grammatical errors and occasionally choose better words. Here, we can review each segment individually. You'll notice that each segment typically contains more than one sentence. It sometimes includes one or two sentences to give the AI translation system a broader context for producing a more accurate translation. Most subtitling systems divide the transcription into segments based on specific time intervals, such as 4 or 5 seconds, or according to when the speaker pauses. Normally, when we breathe, the system can detect that we may have finished the sentence, so it stops at that point. Unfortunately, capturing such short segments is usually insufficient for the AI translation system to produce an accurate translation. Personally, I prefer to capture a longer segment before submitting it for machine translation. Hopefully, this approach will result in a more accurate translation with the correct contextual information. Okay, this is where you can go through each segment and listen carefully. And check whether there are any areas that need improvement. Today, I'm going to argue that humanity's relentless pursuit of better methods to communicate ideas and preserve knowledge is essential. I have a question. If you've already made the changes, will it be reflected in the voice output later? Yes, so whenever you make modifications here, the system will instantly update the synthesized voice file to reflect those changes. However, here, I haven't configured the system to automatically update the machine translation when the transcription is changed. So for now, you'll likely need to make changes on both sides. However, if you want the machine translation to be applied to an updated version of the transcription, it can be done. The reason I don't enable this is that, typically, there aren't many errors that need correction. Initiating the machine translation process takes time, while using the editor is usually faster. This is especially important when performing live editing to support real-time interpretation. Therefore, time is more crucial in that situation. However, we can still offer support by enabling this machine translation if required. Alright, I have another question. Can I use my own voice for the synthesis? Azure provides this feature, but you need to train the voice. Instead of using the standard Microsoft Azure voice, I would need to select your customized voice for your specific use case. This process can be somewhat challenging to manage, as I would need to record each user's voice and configure the settings accordingly. To begin with, I will use the standard voice initially. Do you have any questions? Alright, this is how you can do the checking segment. As I mentioned earlier, if I had played the entire video, the subtitles would have been displayed along with it. This allows you to play the source video segment by segment, with subtitles, so you can quickly review and check if any part has been transcribed incorrectly. Instead of reviewing each segment one by one, you can easily jump to any specific segment. This feature helps you quickly identify the segment you want to edit and proceed efficiently. From my experience, most errors occur with names or proper nouns, such as SiSTeCATI, which may be transcribed incorrectly. Those are the usual improvements I need to make. That's why I usually jump directly to the relevant segment and make improvements, rather than reviewing each one individually. Okay, with this option, you can easily navigate to the previous segment. Someday, I believe we'll look back and see that future generations have gradually replaced text with more intuitive forms of communication, such as audio, video, and eventually immersive technologies. However, if you only need the transcription, I can provide it as a text file for you to review directly. You don't necessarily need to review it segment by segment using this method. Okay, these are the tools available for performing automatic video translation, followed by editing. In fact, you can also translate into multiple languages and verify the results using this tool again. In fact, for lecturers at USM, my university, I usually encourage them to record their lecture sessions. After that, the video can be uploaded into this system and enhanced, either by improving the English or translating it into Chinese, Malay, or Arabic, depending on the international students in the class. This helps them gain a better understanding, and the finalized video can then be uploaded to the e-learning platform for students to have a second one. I also have another simple tool that can combine the lecturer's slides with their transcriptions. For instance, as mentioned earlier, let's take English as an example. This is essentially the text file containing the transcription of the improved English content. If you'd like to view other versions, such as the Malay one labeled MS, they are organized according to their language codes. We need to know the correct language code to identify each file. This one represents the Malay translation. Using the transcription along with the slides, I developed a simple program that can generate a new video displaying both the slides and the transcription for the viewer. That represents a basic version of the courseware. For instance, I have an example here titled Courseware Generator. Alright, it looks something like this. Oh, this example is in Chinese again. Let's skip that. For us, a language model refers to a system that processes a sequence of words. Here is an example in which I use the slide. This is the actual slide itself. This is the slide from my recent lecture, a slightly blurred one. I use this slide as the video background, then add the enhanced English text to generate both subtitles and a voiceover. This process helps create a clearer version of the presentation by simply replacing the original slide with this image. It predicts the most probable word that should follow. For example, take the phrase, Shanghai is a city in. I believe that, based on our language model, most people would provide a similar response. Essentially, lecturers who record their sessions can translate them into other languages. They can generate subtitles and voiceovers in the same language, regardless of whether the content has been enhanced or left unchanged. Alternatively, they can replace the image with their own slide and keep the same voiceover. This allows you to create various types of videos that can be uploaded for students to review later. It serves as an additional way to utilize the recorded data. You can help Sigrid when she needs to teach the next lesson, titled The 12th Strand of DNA. She can manage this effectively by using her presentation slides. You can simply focus on speaking, and once you feel ready to improve, you can create a slide-based version of the presentation without showing your face if you prefer not to. Or perhaps in a different language. I think this can help create lessons that can be displayed while respecting copyright considerations. That's really great. You can also record by minimizing the image to a corner of the screen while displaying the slide in an enlarged version for better visibility. All of these options become available once the recording is available, allowing for the creation of many additional videos. A wide variety of videos can be created from this point. Okay, these represent the core functionalities available, and they will also be utilized for the AI interpretation system. For interpretation purposes, we need to take various live scenarios into account. That sounds great and looks impressive as well. Excellent work. Sorry, I just thought we might have another opportunity for you to demonstrate your system, but there's no time since it's already 5 o'clock. No problem, you can try it later. If not, we have another session where you can interact with the system, and then we'll observe whether you experience any difficulties. I have the recording and can share it with both of you. She can watch it when she has time or learn directly from you next time. Yes, that's really great. I think it's a good idea to have some videos translated. That way, you can get a general sense of the functionality and quality. Then you can translate the entire session into German. Yes, of course. After that, I can also show it to Ben so he can learn from it. Yes, absolutely. Once I receive the video, I'll translate it into German. That's exactly what I suggested. Okay, are there any other questions? If not, we'll probably wrap up here. Thank you very much for the introduction. It looks very promising. Great work. Thank you so much. For convenience, please let me know your available time slot in advance, and I'll try to arrange the schedule accordingly. I think we'll need additional sessions to thoroughly go through the hands-on portion and related tasks, especially for the AI interpretation part. I'm generally available, but I'm affected by several external factors, short-term commitments related to my family and other surroundings. Therefore, at times, I find it difficult to plan effectively. That's why I mentioned I could only attend at 10 o'clock this morning. I needed to ensure the craftsman wouldn't arrive while I was in the session. Because I mentioned that I would be available on Thursdays. You may come at any time. All right, then we will probably proceed one by one. We will likely schedule the next session for 1 or 2 hours and proceed accordingly. Yes, that sounds great. All right, I will watch the recording. Maybe that will help me understand better. I also have a few short videos that I could try to translate. The best way for me to do it is by trying it myself to identify where I encounter difficulties. Yes, in the next session, we will review what needs improvement and then move on to the AI interpretation part. Thank you. Thank you very much for offering your time. He is very efficient. So let's get started. It was great to see you as well. You can check Telegram to schedule an appointment with him. Yes, that's right. Yes, there's one point. Miriam will be coming in the next few days, but I'm not sure which day yet, as it depends on Harvard's schedule. That's why I find it difficult to plan my time effectively.